Would you like to listen to a story? Every year, an ancient kingdom held a grand archery tournament. The prize was never gold or jewels, it was much bigger than that. The winner would become the king's archer, the one trusted to defend the kingdom. It was an honor earned only once a year, and every archer spent months preparing for that single shot. Among them was a young archer who trained from sunrise till sunset. Day after day, season after season, he practiced until drawing the bow became his second nature. When the day of the tournament finally arrived, he stepped on the field. The target stood in the distance. The crowd fell silent. He raised his bow, pulled the string, and he froze. A single thought entered in his mind. Maybe I should have practiced one more week. What if I miss? What if all these months were not enough? Standing beside him was an old wise man who had watched countless such tournaments. Without looking at him, the wise man quietly said, "The day of the tournament is not the day you decide if you have prepared enough. It is only the day you discover what your preparation has already become." The young archer took a deep breath and he released the arrow. I have 30 days until my finals. And if I'm being honest with you, and I'm only going to be honest with you if you promise not to look away when it gets uncomfortable. I don't know if I am the archer in that story or someone who's pretending to train for 10 years and only actually trained for 3. That's the part nobody says out loud. We post the productivity, we don't post the doubt. This is the actual starting line. I need to tell you something that I haven't said out loud. When my 3rd year started, I had made this promise to myself that I think every med student makes but then falls off the track. It was the promise of getting the gold marks. Not do well, but gold. And I remember exactly when I made this promise to myself. It was on New Year's Eve. Sounds cliche, everyone makes resolutions. So did I. And in this 1 year, that promise never really left my mind. Every time I opened a book, every time I skipped one, every time I told myself I'll lock in, starting from Monday, that promise was sitting there in the background, watching. Here's the part that is very hard to admit, but having a goal in your head is really not the same as working towards it. I thought about being that person for 1 year, but I didn't consistently act like that for the year. This might sound very obvious, but trust me, it's not. And I spent a long time convincing myself that it was. Everyone posts saying, I set a goal and I grinded for it. But almost nobody posts about the fact that I carried the doubt year long and only recently started actually working towards it. That's where I am. Not a 0, not where I promised myself I'd be either. So let's assess everything properly. No sugarcoating, no inflating it either. I have done my first pass through the syllabus because I had to study it for my prelims. It happened, that's real progress. And I'm not going to pretend it otherwise just to make an episode more dramatic. But I do have to admit that it was broad. Like the pass was very surface level. The kind of first pass where you recognize everything but you have like 10% confidence that you will be able to recall it in the exam. And 0% if you are under pressure. So this year we have 2 exams, community medicine and forensic medicine. This is a beast. This is a beast, but let's tame it. Let us actually rate how my preparation is. For community medicine, I feel like I would give myself a 5 on 10. Yep, a 5 on 10. Because but for forensic medicine, I feel like it is a good 7 on 10 for me right now. Because I know all of the concepts. It's just that there's still a lot to go. So that's my final rating, 5 on 10 for PSM and 7 on 10 for FMT. The gold marks version, as I like to call it, she doesn't exist yet. She is not really behind the schedule because there was no schedule at the first place. There was a promise and then there was some scattered effort. And I feel like these 30 days they need to be turned into a schedule for that promise to work. I'm not saying this to punish myself on the camera. I am saying this because a year of I have to turns into something real only if I stop treating it like a feeling and start treating it like a plan. The archer doesn't get credit for wanting to get that shot, and neither do I. 30 days left, first time in a year that a promise has a deadline attached to it. The archer never got to choose how ready he was. He only got to choose whether he'd lie to himself about it. I have divided these 30 days into 3 weeks and 1 week. 3 weeks for completion and 1 week for revision. Earlier, I had a study system which was largely based on time, as in how many hours a day did I put in. But recently, I have learned about goal-based studying and I have found it effective. And as far as video lectures are considered, I have watched the videos, but I want to complete it nicely. The last thing I want to say is, the arrow hasn't been released yet. Tomorrow, we start aiming.